The story of Solomon carries a tinge of sadness. When Solomon ascended the throne, possibly as young as 20, the prospect seemed bright, filled with promise and opportunity. His reign kicked off on an exhilarating note. His father, David, proudly declared him king, and Solomon's name itself meant peace. Born into a family that valued forgiveness, Solomon, the second child of David and Bathsheba, navigated a palace tainted with strife. His older brothers, Amnon and Absalom, created havoc, complicating the family dynamics. Even as David lay dying, his brother Adonijah declared himself king, but Nathan the prophet and Bathsheba's swift actions solidified Solomon's rightful claim to the throne. Amidst this familial turmoil, Solomon received a farewell speech from his father David, recorded in 1 Kings 2, 1-4. As the time approached for David to pass away, he charged Solomon with a poignant message: "I am about to go the way of all the earth." In the face of challenges, David urged his son to be strong, to act like a man, and to observe what the Lord, their God, required. Despite this promising start, Solomon's journey took an unexpected turn, eventually leading to a life marked by disappointment. Walk in obedience to him, and keep his decrees, commands, laws, and regulations as written in the law of Moses. This path ensures prosperity in all your endeavors and wherever you go. The Lord's promise to David hinges on your descendants living faithfully before him with all their heart and soul, securing an enduring succession on the throne of Israel. Solomon's father, in a heartfelt farewell speech, emphasized the importance of living for the Lord. This wise advice resonated with Solomon, evident in his love for the Lord as he walked in the statutes of his father David. Although he worshipped in high places, Solomon's heart was steadfastly fixed on the Lord. In a pivotal moment at Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream, offering to fulfill any request. This interaction reflects a time when God frequently communicated with the Israelites through dreams in the Old Testament. Today, God primarily communicates through his Son, the Lord Jesus, revealed in the Scriptures. Solomon, prompted by God's invitation, faced a significant decision. "Ask for whatever you want me to give you." This pivotal moment marked a turning point in Solomon's life, setting the stage for the unfolding narrative. God granted Solomon a blank check, inviting him to ask for anything he desired. If the Lord asked you tonight, "What do you want?" your response would reveal much about yourself. Solomon's choice was remarkable. He prayed for wisdom to be the king he needed to be. In 1 Kings 3, 7, 15, Solomon humbly acknowledged his limitations as a new king and sought a discerning heart to govern and distinguish between right and wrong. God was pleased with this selfless request, choosing to grant Solomon not only wisdom, but also the distinction of becoming the wisest and wealthiest man in history. Solomon's plea showcases a profound desire for righteous leadership rather than personal gain. God's response emphasized the uniqueness of Solomon's wisdom, surpassing anyone before or after him. Additionally, God generously bestowed wealth and honor beyond Solomon's original request, establishing him as unparalleled among kings in his lifetime. Solomon, a great king and excellent administrator, realized the dream's significance. God's promise of a long life hinged on walking in obedience and keeping his decrees, much like his father David. During his reign, Solomon undertook a monumental task, building the temple his father had envisioned. In the 480th year after the Israelites left Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's rule, construction began. The temple measured 60 cubits long, 20 wide, and 30 high. The front portico extended the temple's width, projecting 10 cubits. Solomon incorporated narrow, high windows in the temple walls. Around the building, he constructed a structure with side rooms, featuring different widths on each floor. The lowest floor was 5 cubits wide, the middle floor 6 cubits, and the third floor 7 cubits. Offset ledges were added to prevent anything from being inserted into the temple walls. Remarkably, only blocks dressed at the quarry were used in construction, and no iron tools were heard at the temple site. The entrance to the lowest floor faced the south, with a stairway leading to the middle level and onward to the third. Solomon's attention to detail and adherence to divine instructions marked the construction of the magnificent temple. Solomon diligently completed the temple, roofing it with beams and cedar planks. Side rooms, each 5 cubits high, adorned the temple, attached by cedar beams, an exquisite realization of divine instructions. In a momentous dedication prayer, 1 Kings 8:22-53, Solomon stood before the Lord's altar, hands outstretched toward heaven. He praised the incomparable God of Israel, acknowledging his covenant of love and faithfulness to David, Solomon's father. Solomon pleaded with God to keep the promises made to David, ensuring an unbroken succession on Israel's throne if his descendants remained faithful. Despite the grandeur of the temple, Solomon recognized the vastness of God, acknowledging that even the highest heavens cannot contain him. Still, he earnestly prayed for God to heed his plea, asking for attention to be given to the temple and the prayers offered within its sacred walls. Solomon's dedication prayer exemplified a deep connection with God, expressing humility, gratitude, and a profound awareness of the divine. Solomon continued his prayer, seeking God's attention when his servant and the people of Israel prayed toward the temple. He implored God to hear from his dwelling place in heaven, and upon hearing, to forgive. Additionally, Solomon petitioned God to judge between his servants when oaths were taken at the temple altar. He asked for divine intervention, condemning the guilty and vindicating the innocent based on their actions. However, Solomon's narrative takes a turn, revealing 2 significant mistakes. In 1 Kings 11:1, it's disclosed that Solomon loved many foreign women, including those from Moab, Ammon, Sidon, and Hittites. These unions, initially political alliances, gave rise to moral issues as 1,000 women vied for his attention, fostering a culture of immorality in the kingdom. As Solomon aged, his wives led him astray, turning his heart to other gods. His devotion to the Lord waned, and he embraced detestable gods like Ashtoreth and Malek. Solomon's descent into idolatry marked a departure from the righteous path his father David had treaded. He even built high places for Chemosh and Molech, gods of Moab and Ammon, succumbing to the influence of his foreign wives and engaging in pagan rituals. Solomon's actions, driven by a misguided sense of tolerance, introduced sensual and idolatrous practices into the heart of God's people. Despite being done under the banner of acceptance, these deeds shifted the king's heart away from God, leading to the construction of high places for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, and Malek, the abomination of the people of Ammon. Solomon's foreign wives participated in incense burning and sacrifices to their gods. In 1 Kings 11:7-14, it's revealed that the Lord, angered by Solomon's turn from him, warned him twice about avoiding other gods. However, Solomon disregarded the command, leading to divine consequences. The Lord, displeased, announced the tearing away of the kingdom from Solomon's line. This punishment, though deferred for Solomon's father David's sake, would eventually befall Solomon's son. The Lord, in a display of mercy, decided not to remove the entire kingdom, but left one tribe for Solomon's son, for the sake of David and the chosen city of Jerusalem. God then raised up an adversary, Hadad the Edomite, against Solomon, signaling a challenging period for the once wise and prosperous king. Solomon's errors brought repercussions in his final years, as God raised adversaries against him. In 1 Kings 11:23-26, Rezin, son of Eliada, emerged as a formidable foe. Having fled from his master Hadadezer, the king of Zobah, Rezin gathered a band of men, settling in Damascus and becoming a constant adversary to Solomon throughout his life. Additionally, Jeroboam, one of Solomon's officials, and an Ephraimite, rebelled against the king. The biography of Solomon concludes in 1 Kings 11:41-43, directing readers to the annals of Solomon for a detailed account of his reign and wisdom. Solomon reigned over Israel for 40 years, resting with his ancestors in the city of David after his death. His son Rehoboam succeeded him as king. Despite his earlier achievements, Solomon's legacy is marked by pervading sadness, evident in the books he authored: Song of Solomon, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes. In his later years, he likely realized the moral decline and idolatry that marred his reign. Solomon's later years, as depicted in Ecclesiastes, reveal a sense of waiting for death, contemplating the perceived pointlessness of his life without a meaningful relationship with the Creator. Ecclesiastes vividly describes life under the sun when devoid of a connection with the sun's Creator. In his pursuit of happiness, Solomon experimented with various avenues, sharing his discoveries in Ecclesiastes. He delved into understanding wisdom, madness, and folly, only to realize that it, too, is akin to chasing the wind. Ecclesiastes 1:17. He tested pleasure, even filling his palace with laughter and joy, but found it to be ultimately meaningless. Solomon's exploration of luxury and wealth, Ecclesiastes 2:4, underscores a poignant truth. Despite his unimaginable wealth, he recognized that true joy and fulfillment come not from material abundance, but from a relationship with God. Psalm 16:11 emphasizes the path of life and fullness of joy found in God's presence. Solomon's journey serves as a timeless reminder that real pleasure and fulfillment are discovered in a relationship with God, transcending the fleeting pursuits of wisdom, laughter, and luxury. Solomon's pursuits of pleasure and luxury, as outlined in Ecclesiastes 2:3-11, revealed the futility of finding lasting happiness in worldly indulgences. Despite attempting to cheer himself with wine, embracing folly alongside wisdom, and undertaking grand projects like building houses, vineyards, and gardens, he found no lasting contentment. Experimenting with lust and acquiring vast wealth, including silver and gold, male and female singers, and a harem, did not bring the happiness he sought. Solomon became greater than anyone in Jerusalem, enjoying every pleasure imaginable. However, upon reflection, he realized the emptiness of it all. Everything was meaningless, akin to chasing the wind. The culmination of Solomon's journey is captured in Ecclesiastes 12:1, where he imparts a valuable lesson. True contentment is found in remembering the Creator in one's youth, before the trials of life overshadow the pursuit of pleasure. Solomon's personal testimony serves as a powerful reminder that lasting joy is ultimately rooted in a relationship with the Lord.